So yeah, we have been skirting around a topic, so let's get into it, shall we? This is the topic. Ezra Miller, The Flash, and Pixar's Elemental are slated to be just huge bombs, like not small bombs, huge bombs. And this would be one of the biggest bombs. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, well, this would be one of the biggest bombs that Pixar's ever had. Actually, this would be huge, like real bad, real bad. Fuck off, Nike. You fucking sweatshop bloody Chinas. Well, I fucking do, don't they? Bloody scumbags. So anyway, yeah, it's an inarguable fact. So here we are, like Ezra Miller's The Flash, right? So we haven't talked about it here. I've covered it on the main channel, but you know, Ezra Miller's The Flash is pacing to open in the $70 million range. I mean, that's real bad. That's absolutely atrocious. And they say this, you know, according to sources of access to tracking data. So Box Office Insiders say that's a soft number for a movie that's been heavily promoted by Warner Brothers as the best superhero movie of all time. Others note that, and this is the other thing that doesn't make any sense. Other sources note that a movie's holdover once it opens is more important than the opening weekend gross. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, dipshits. Like, it is and it isn't. A lot of that is related to the mat that it opens up to, and whether there is a traditional holdover for this type of movie, which there isn't. Now, the only saving grace that they note here is a comparison to like Aquaman. So Aquaman opened and, you know, to similar numbers ish. And then, you know, obviously went over to, you know, to $1 billion. But the other thing, and we'll get to this, then we'll kind of talk about it. So Pixar and Disney, I think people are wising up to them and everything to do with them. Elemental, which looks like garbage, it's not. It looks garbage. It's a very paint by numbers Pixar movie. It's not been promoted at all. I've seen like one trailer for it, I think, or one advert. I don't think I've seen an advert. I've seen a trailer. But that number, $40 million domestic. $40 million. And they say this, the studio only kicked off the film's marketing campaign in earnest in recent days, including an integration with American Idol. Elemental makes its world premiere this weekend at Cannes Film Festival. I've not heard anything about it. Have you heard anything about it?
Nothing.
No, other than I just want to remind everybody, this will be the second bomb from the same guy that was in charge of this of film at Pixar. This is Peter Sohn.
It would be worse than Lightyear, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so what do we think? For like, so I mean, look, Disney. I think that's a product of, you know, it's an overall product of what we're getting from Disney in general. General feedback, people not liking them, people being more evasive with Disney products, but also, I think Pixar's time's up. Like they've lost their spark. They really have lost their spark. Their storytelling spark is just gone.
Put a fork in them.
Well, again, Tom's going to point out the same thing I am. They got rid of the guy who made it all work. And they tried to replace him with a discount like Pete Docter. That wasn't an adequate replacement. You know, Tom, do you want to explain what happened there?
Which part?
The Pixar and what happened, why they are
with Lasseter? Well,
me too.
First of all, they stretched Lasseter too thin. They put him on both Disney Animation and Pixar, which benefited Disney Animation but hurt Pixar Animation because there wasn't as many people who wanted to listen to Lasseter there anymore, let's say. And Brave was one of the movies that was kind of the breaking point. There was a lot of young individuals who didn't want to listen to an old white man. You know, the best that there ever was, mind you, but they didn't want to listen to him. So they came up with every single excuse they could, including, well, we think we smell beer and booze on his breath, and he likes to hug a lot.
Seriously, that
is the best they could come up with. So then to make it actually look bad, they hired somebody who they called his quote-unquote handler that was supposedly to run interference in case he ever got too huggy or supposedly wanted to start drinking. But I had never heard of him drinking before. and he is not the type of individual that I can see even being a closet drunk.
Ridiculous.
Like, you just sit and listen to an interview with John Lasseter, and you're like, this dude has got to be one of the most wholesome dudes on the planet.
In person, he is the nicest man you will ever meet.
Like, he makes Mormons blush, probably.
He's genuine. He gives you a hearty handshake. He offers a smile, a warm greeting, and he will tell you stories all day long. This man is just he's goodness personified. So the fact that there's like he hugs too long.
So they wrecked him for that, and then they've lost their
wrecked him.
Magic. That was the magic in Disney's products, I guess, wasn't it?
Well, in the animation project, I mean, and Tom's right. They stretched him quite thin because he was in charge of Pixar, and then they really had no go juice over at the Walt Disney Animation Studios.
He was the one though that basically helped between the stuff like Tangled.
Yeah, with Cars,
Wreck-It Ralph. No, I'm talking about the Disney side of things, not the Pixar side. Of things, yeah. Like, so he came in and gave them a resurgence over on that side. Yeah.
I mean, and again, I mean, he understood story, and he was honest about what was good and bad. And you know what? If something wasn't good enough, he would say, "Stop! This isn't the right direction. We're going to go a different way. Start again."
Fact, the Toy Story 2 we have is a completely redone movie.
Yep, it was not the one that they had originally made.
You know, they completely scrapped it and started over.
Sure.
And it was almost finished.
Oh, they got rid of him for that. That's outrageous. Yeah. They got rid of someone that gave them so much level of success. But this is what I mean. Like, Pixar is just dead now. Like, they've lost their spark to Illumination.
Yeah,
you know, Illumination now absolutely.
Well, he's over at what, Skydance?
DreamWorks. Yeah, he went to Skydance. Yeah, he's over at Skydance now.
What have they made? If it's good, have they made?
They actually made one animated project that was pretty good. I can't remember the name, but it's not that far removed. I know that. Do you realize that Little Mermaid has strong competition from another animated film coming up here?
Wow.
What's it called? It's like the Kraken.
Oh yeah, an actual mermaid film. Yeah. An animated mermaid film.
It looks incredible to me. I can't wait to see it. But again, it's coming out of DreamWorks, Skydance, DreamWorks Illumination. It's coming out of Universal. Universal's been kicking Disney's butt in the animation for 4 consecutive
years. Sounds like
years.
they might be making a mistake here with their How to Train Your Dragon live action reboot, though.
You think so?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this. The casting.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't sound in good.
I just sent you a link in the.
God, no.
Yeah, evidently blondes. It's your turn.
Oh dear.
Well, anyway, from redheads to blondes.
Oh. Yeah. So what do we think about the Flash then? So Disney's just going downhill. We know that anyway. But Flash,
I think it's a hell of a swan song.
70 million.
I think it's going to do better than that, Nate.
Yeah.
I think they're being conservative.
I think it'll do at least 72.
It's just open at domestic 70 million.
No, I think it'll do closer to 100.
Yeah.
I don't see a world where this doesn't open to at least 100. Now, if it has legs or not, that's.
I think it'll have a big second weekend drop off for sure.
Yeah.
Even Box Office Pro is skeptical of your $100 million. They have. I think
they're being conservative culture, so they can have headlines saying it overperformed.
They've been dog shit about. They thought Rise of the Beast was going to do terrible, so I wouldn't trust Box Office.
Oh, I'm just.
Didn't they say Super Mario Brothers was going to bomb as well? Hold on,
they were dumb,
didn't they? Well, there you go then. Let's not listen to them.
Look,
that just shows me they're out of touch with the audience.
Yeah.
Too.
Anyone who betted against that Mario movie
they were dumb.
Is dumb.
Fucking idiots.
Oh no, because I know all of us, including several others in our community, were flat out saying from the start that movie's going to make $1 billion.
Yeah,
we smelled it months ago.
It was obvious. It was absolutely obvious.
And I knew the exact moment it was going to make $1 billion for sure. And culture can back me up on this. Speaking of the Super Bowl ads earlier, is when they dropped the Mario Brothers Super Bowl ad. I'm like, oh my God, they just clinched this thing making $1 billion.
It was perfect.
And Andre didn't understand it, and I don't know if you did either, Nate, because I don't know if you've ever seen the original cartoon, but I'm like, they just used the theme song from the old cartoon in an ad.
Yeah.
I'm like, so now they went from the kids going, I want to go seeing that, to the parents going, guess what, kids? We're going to see that.
Nostalgia fate.
It was incredible.
Well, to tie that in with the Flash, then, to not get too off topic. So, do you think that their Super Bowl ad would have cinched them?
I think that's the only reason I won't count it out, Nate. That's my point to getting back around to it is with Michael Keaton, never underestimate Batmania. Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was one of those things that everybody betted against him in 1989, and a lot of people ate crow.
Yeah, because I mean, and that's true, because let's say I was alive back then, we had YouTube, we were doing this back then, I would have had to eat crow, because I was one of those people like, wait a minute, this, like, gosh, at that point he was barely out of, comedian phase, and a lot of middling performances. So
I, on the other hand, I said, oh, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, it's sort of like when you first saw that Tom Hanks was going to be in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? What? The comedian?
Yeah.
Well, off that note, they actually considered Tom Hanks for Batman. But at that point, on that note, like, I was just like I noticed I could just, like I said, smell it in the air. You could see it everywhere. All of a sudden, bat symbols just sprouted up like flowers. And everything was all of a sudden bat ladled. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Something is happening here. I'm like, it doesn't. At that point, I remember thinking, I don't care what people are arguing about, because even in me being in like 4th, 5th grade at that time, kids were arguing about Batman. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter who plays this guy. This movie's making all the money in the world. And it was hard to find the toys. You couldn't find anything. The only thing I don't see here now is the same kind of Batmania, but that's the thing, is the crowd that this is going to bring in isn't the type of crowd that's going to go out and buy figures either. So we'll have to wait and see here what happens.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, I think it'll be an interesting turn of events. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think, looking at the sort of numbers and stuff, I don't think, 70 million, I reckon they're lowballing some of it. I mean, Pixar's Elemental, I don't think they're lowballing. I think that actually went.
I think that's going to actually perform less, because I think they went and pulled the same thing they did with.
I say 20 to 30, something like that.
Help me out here, Culture. The movies last year, Black Panther, and what was the one? Strange World.
Strange World.
Where they took all the marketing for Strange World and put it into Black Panther. I think they did the same thing to Little Mermaid here with.
And it was fresh off. Money. It was fresh off the complete collapse of Lightyear, right? So you got Lightyear, which turned the audience off in a big way, and then you followed it up with Strange World, and you did it crushed up against something that was gonna, kind of dominate the box office, so to speak, in Black Panther woke forever. So.
And also, real quick on the Pixar thing. So the last movie they put out in 2020, Onward, had an opening of less than 40 million.
But you can't really count on that, because it opened the week before the shutdown of every single theater in the country and around the world.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, that was the last one. And then, of course, before that, we had their third highest one in Toy Story 4, that crushed it. But I think that's the last time they put out a movie that had any hype around it, was Toy Story 4 in 2019. Wow. I can't think of one since then. Can y'all?
No, and I think that one did manage to make $1 billion, didn't it?
Yeah,
Culture?
It did.
Yeah, but that's purely off of the first 3. But
yeah. Tom Working took me to task in the chat about my assessment of early on performance of Michael Keaton. Okay, fair enough.
What Tom's talking about there is the reason Tim Burton hired him in the first place is because he knew he could play crazy.
Yes,
that was the whole point. Because his whole thing was, you'd have to be crazy to do this anyway. So
yeah,
but anyhow.
Well, let's shuffle on. I think. Do we have any super chats coming? Oh no!
Oh no!
He broke it.
That was actually an oh no. This was my my sourdough starter.
Oh,
if that spills out, Holy shit, it's like glue.
Is
You
that
won't
the
get it
only
off.
carbs you give yourself, or what?
No, I've not made. I made sourdough bread like.
I was gonna say I saw you.
I love
Yeah,
fresh
post on the-
sourdough.
Yeah. Anyway,
Best bread ever.
Not to get too off topic
I'm
with
impressed.
sourdough.
I'm impressed that you're cultivating that rather well.
Oh no, this was So this was so sourdough starter is really good. You can keep it in the fridge and you bring it out to resurrect it every so often. So this one's doing all right. It's very yeasty at the moment, but it's not bad. This is sort of brought back to life today, and it obviously goes on top of my PC because really, really warm, and it'll incubate all the yeast quite nicely. So I just literally moved and knocked it over, and I'm like, no shit, because if it gets on, it's done. Like you won't get that off. And then I'll feed it again tomorrow, scrap some, feed it again, scrap some, and then it'll come back to life. Really, really nice, really bubbly. Anyway,
yeah, there's a point being brought up in the chat that I think is poignant too. Is like RPR's channel said, adjusted for inflation, Batman Returns made $576 million, almost 577. But guess what? Good. Also, it did back then. It made that much probably in video sales too. That's something they don't have now, right? Like that's a thing they don't have on the other end.
Well, it'll go straight to like an HBO Max, wouldn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And that's, we've talked about that at nausea, Culture and I have, about how sad it is that they've destroyed an ancillary market like that. Because I remember when Batman Returns hit video. I remember when Batman hit video, it was a big deal because it was one of the first times they got a movie out that quickly that was that big of a hit. Because they made sure it hit video by that Christmas. And they probably sold $500-600 million worth of videos, I bet.
Yeah.